Okay, so my questions for this week, I was answering under what is worth teaching. The first question, why are the subjects we teach of so much worth over other subjects? I just think about how we seem to always have those basic, math, writing, English. Why don't we have opportunities like other countries to choose at a younger age a specific topic and really learn that in depth? And this quote that was given, or there's a link that was given that I followed and read, and this is a quote from it that I feel like it sums it up pretty well. It's both common sense and confirmed by research that a strong social studies program will help boost reading performance, and that numerical aspects of music contribute to a better understanding of math. It is not surprising that success in one subject often breeds success in others, and it's beyond debate that engaging students in subjects and activities they like will help them get through ones they don't like. So I like this reading because it shows that people obviously see that a well-rounded education is important. I don't think anyone means to necessarily make one subject more important than others. But I feel like because they're trying to make it well-rounded, they give us a really basic idea of everything that we need to learn that will help us succeed later in college. And as we become more learned in English and math and science, it'll help us succeed later in the subject that we choose to learn more in depth in. And we can't teach students everything, so I feel like the things that we have chosen is a good base to start from. Again, funding can also limit opportunities to learn different things. I've heard of schools where they cut music programs or art programs because the funding doesn't allow them to get into those programs. And so students can have opportunities if they have the funds through their parents to learn through other sources, music and art. But it would be harder, I feel, to learn math and English without a teacher in school. Does teaching really make that huge enough effect in the students? Again, this quote that somebody wrote on my graffiti wall, I liked it. I think it does, honestly. It also has to do with how much heart you put into it. If you honestly care about your students, we'll get more out of it and we'll enjoy learning. Christ taught with love and understanding, and many around him felt that love and were willing to listen and follow his teachings. So if you teach as Christ did, I know your students will be affected in a positive way. So I think that's really important, that it's, what we put into it, and I really do think people are affected by what we teach. I just think of stories I've heard from missionaries, how they try so hard to get somebody into the gospel, to learn more about the gospel and get baptized, but they never succeed with this person, and then they'll later run into the person, or maybe their mission president will write them, and you'll find people who affects that person, and sometimes their immediate family, sometimes the person they marry and their future kids. You can see it span out into this big tree effect of just people who end up in the church because of that effect you made with one person. So I know that it does affect people, and that we plant little seeds with the people that we touch in our lives, and so it will affect our students, and we may not see how exactly, but it does. We do need to teach with love, with the spirit, and a desire to push our students towards applying what they learn, to seek out more knowledge, and to make goals and to strive for them. Teachers have the opportunity to inspire their students. It's amazing. You see these videos of how coaches or teachers inspired a student to go out and do something, and it makes such an effect in their lives, and it just changes their whole outlook on life. A lot of teachers pick the subject they teach because they have a strong love for it. So we need to show that love for that subject through our teaching, and try to inspire the same love for that subject in our students. There's a scripture that talks about how the Spirit carries truth onto our hearts, but not into our hearts, unless the hearer allows the Spirit to carry it into the heart. So we can only do so much as a teacher. We can teach with the Spirit, and it's through the Spirit that we learn, but it's also up to the student to have that desire to learn. So if we can inspire a love for knowledge or a love for that subject, then that, I think, will invite the Spirit to teach it to them. They'll be more willing to learn the subject, and that's what we need, is willingness. For the third question, why don't we allow the students to pick subjects they learn? Wouldn't it be of more interest and worth to them? We can only teach so much in the first 12 to 13 years. I feel that school systems will pretty well make the best use of their time by choosing the subjects that they have. They give us a wide range of basic skills that, based on the knowledge and skills we gain, we can know what we'd like to further study in college, and it will help us succeed. There are tons of different sciences, math, writing styles to learn, and we can't do it all in that short amount of time. So they teach us the basics, and I feel like they do a pretty good job at that. It would probably be more of an interest to them to be able to choose what they learn, but the subjects chosen give us the basic start with, and will give us the knowledge, skills, and study habits to succeed in college, where we can choose for ourselves what we want to truly learn about, and way more in depth. If allowed students to choose what they wanted to learn, those who hated math would probably choose not to learn it. They would just be like, it's not worth my time, I don't want to learn it. And math is so important, science is so important, English is so important. So if we were to choose, I feel that students would choose not to learn that because it's hard and it's not fun to them. So if we help them just get through it and try to make it as fun as possible, it'll really be a good foundation for them in the future, and it's so important for them. I think there is something to say about allowing students to choose within a subject a few things they may want to learn. Take math, for example. It is important that they can learn algebra, geometry, in all those, different math levels. But there are many other bits of exciting things that involve math. Maybe someone wants to learn how math applies to sound waves, music. Because math is a big aspect of music. It underlies all of it. That would be interesting and worthwhile to learn. Not necessarily exact formula algebra you would expect, but it does apply to math, and I think it would be worthwhile learning. Science, there's lots of little tidbits that you can learn about that that we may not touch specifically in school, but maybe students want to learn a specific thing. So I think as students explore that and know what they want to learn, I think it's important to add a few things in at least throughout the year that are geared to what the students specifically have chosen to learn, on top of the just basic science and maths that we have outlined for students to learn throughout the year. So I know that it's important to allow students to choose, but it's important to also have a basic sense of education. And I think the way things are set up are pretty well done, and it's our job as teachers to also inspire students.